Oh, hi everyone. I'm just doing some cutting out here. Have a look behind me. I'm trying to make something. I'm trying to make a teddy bear quilt, and I'm just cutting out some teddies here because I'd like to join them together and cover my area of my quilt. Maybe you've got a quilt at home somebody's made you, if you're lucky enough to have a clever person. Oh, my bits and pieces everywhere. Paper, material. I've started with some teddies here, and I'd like to start joining them together and cover my quilt. Oh, but they don't seem to fit together. I don't think if I cut them out that all the edges are going to join together properly. Can you see? Oh dear. Maybe I should do something a bit different. Wonder what the problem was there. Okay, well, I have some teddies here. I've made lots of pictures of teddies, as you can see. And I've got my material. I'd like to be able to measure first. You know how we love measuring, to make sure that it fits on there in the right spot. So I'm going to put out my teddies. And remember, when we do things twice, that helps us to check that everything is just right. So I'm going to place mine out for the first time. Oh, it's too close there. There we go. Put some out. Put out. Out. Have you been noticing lots of area? Have you been noticing lots of things that are maybe out in your garden? Maybe some tiles in your bathroom that all fit together to cover an area? There is a lot of things that you probably start to notice now in maths, which is great. I'm almost done putting them all out. So I have put out, oh look at that, lots of teddies. That's going to look wonderful. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Great. Fantastic. All right, so remember, like we did with our pencils, we should double check. Measure twice for good measure. Get all my teddies and I'll place them out again. And put them down. Here we go. Put them down just to make sure that it's all the same. So I want to make sure that I have the right amount of material when I go to make a lovely quilt. I need to make sure that I've got just the right length and just the right area of material to make the quilt. So we're looking for things that are the same. When we're looking at measuring, we want to make sure that we get the same amount every time. Oh dear, that doesn't look right. I've got one left over and it's in a rectangle. It's in the shape. What am I doing wrong? So this is a rectangle. Can you think of any other shapes that I might be able to use? I have tried a teddy bear shape and that wasn't really working. I don't think that I'll be able to sew them all together and they'll stay nice and flat on my lovely quilt. So teddies, they didn't work. And I've used a rectangle, and both times that I put them out, I got different numbers. I got different measurements both times. So maybe I need to change something. I'd like you to have a think about the shape of your unit. when you were looking at measuring and we looked at pencils, do you remember what we needed to make sure that our units were? That was in one direction. Now we have two directions. We have a 2D shape because we are measuring area. I wonder what kind of shape that I might be able to discover that might help us, that might be the same in two directions. I'd like you to pause the video now, and I'd like you to find again a space, an area for you to measure. It might be that you get out a book and you find some shapes. Maybe you might find some counters. Do you think that counters might fit together? Remember, we're not supposed to have any gaps, and we're not supposed to have any overlaps. So we must make sure whatever shape that we're choosing, that there's going to be end to end every time that we do that. So I'd like you to pause the video, go and find a shape in the classroom or at home, a large shape, and then you're going to find a unit. Look around for something, get your brain thinking about some units and experiment. So pause the video and go and explore. I'd like you to tell, and maybe you'd like to write down or draw what shape you think is the best. I'm going to go and get my Super Sleuth and see if I can find some. Happy hunting! Hi everybody, how did you go at Super Sleuthing trying to figure out the best shape? That can be pretty tricky. We are looking for shapes that didn't have any gaps. We are looking for shapes that give us the same number every time in both directions. So, can you tell me the answer to these questions? So, firstly, I had teddies. Why didn't the teddy shape work? Why didn't the teddy shape work? Well, the teddy shape didn't work because it has lots of gaps. When I put my teddy shapes together, look, there's holes. And if I put his tummies together, well, then there's overlaps with his arms. That's right. So I've got gaps and overlaps, and we don't want that when we are doing our shapes measuring. Why didn't the rectangle work? They fit together. They don't have any gaps. When we did the measuring, we ended up with two different numbers on two different occasions, and I did fit them together, so I was putting them together correctly. It may have something to do with the shape of a rectangle having two different length measurements. One side is shorter than the other. So did you figure out what that special magic shape is? Do you think it might be a square? Let's have a look and see if the squares that I made now will fit and work. So I've made my teddies into squares. So I'm going to put it out and check. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure they sit together properly. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, I don't think I'll need that bit at the end, but this fits great. So if I do that again, put those aside, we have 20 teddy squares. If I put these out again, even if I put them in the other direction, they should be the same amount. So let's check. Got my teddy squares all collecting. We'll put them in a different direction. And it should still work, I hope. So, put teddies this way now. 2, 3, oh, they're stuck together. 4, what do you think? Think it's going to work? I hope so. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes! I think we did it. I think we found the magic shape. It is a square. No matter which way I turn it, it is always going to give me the same shape, shaded area of my shape. Fantastic. Now when we write this, how do you think we should do that? We have a 2D shape and they go in 2 directions. Now when we measure things, we need to put a name with them. So we might be measuring units. We might just say they're in units, or we might say that they are Lego. We might put the squares as books. So because these shapes are in 2 directions, that they're 2-dimensional shapes, we need to show that in some way. So when we write them, we write a little 2 at the end of the word. So when you measure your shapes, whether you just put units or whether you put Lego or books, or later you know you'll be having some metric measurements, you put the number 2 at the end, a bit up in the sky, at the end, a bit like an apostrophe, to indicate how many directions that you are measuring your area. So that's how you measure area. I hope that you find some more things when you're walking around and you find some more things of maths. Have lots of fun. Bye.